Hello, Jeffrey and Janet. Hello, Papa G, Bill Woods, Myrna. Who else we got? Yes. Anyway, guys, here we are Monday. I'm going to go in and play the music and do the pledge, talk about the kids, and then I'm going to be honest with you guys. What's happened over the weekend, I'll talk about it. I got nothing for tonight. I don't know what to think. I'm staying positive, but positive in a down mood. I mean, I'm not going to bring anybody down tonight, but some of the things that's going on, wow, they're off the chart. So anyway, let's do the pledge in a song. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA.
They give it a half a day.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea. Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'd rather stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt of this land. God bless the USA. God bless this country. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Yes, God bless the USA. Proud to be an American. I am. I wish I wish more people were. I had one of those weekends I'll get into in a minute. Talk about the Super Bowl, which I thought he'll get to hear my feelings. The more and more I think about it, I don't need a lot of things because of what I got to talk about. Needs to be heard, needs to be talked about. But Super Jimmy, I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you're getting out. I don't know where you guys are at, if it's getting any better. We are getting just a little bit up in temperatures. And when the wind isn't blowing, we actually had a day here, Jimmy. We actually had a day weather-wise here a little bit ago, Patriot 11, that it was 34 degrees, but it was a 20-mile-an-hour wind, and it had the feeling like it was about 10. It was cold. The next day, it was 24 degrees, and it was nothing but sunshine and no wind. And I felt like I could take my jacket off and walk around in just a shirt sleeve. And it's crazy because, I'll get into my weather protections in a little bit, kids, but, Karate Kid and little Wyatt Earp, I still am just flabbergasted, just so happy, I watched it, Papa G, if that's what you want to call it. It was there. Never watched a bit of I got up and left the room when halftime was on. Ron turned off. What's that?
I slept through most of it.
Ron slept through almost the whole game. There, I was sitting here watching it, and I'll get into that too in a little bit, but I seen you had said that. I want to acknowledge you, Papa G. But it is funny, though, first Super Bowl in 55 years you haven't watched. And you don't feel like you missed anything, do you?
First Super Bowl we never drunk a beer at.
I'll get to that too. There's a lot of firsts that we're going to discuss tonight, guys. But anyway, Patriot Prince is our queen and Patriot Hunter. I mean, we should be showing you kids what you do. And if you would have watched this game yesterday, all you'd have seen was a rigged ass game. Excuse me, kids. Shouldn't have said it. But remember, this video is not made for children. Even though we have a kids section, you can watch it if your parents, grandparents, or legal guardians say it. And I shouldn't have said that. I do apologize. But we should be setting examples, and instead, someone said Boogs, Boogaloo, Boogaroo, and Boogie. Someone said that the big guy involved in the football, his name is Roger Goodell. Goodell. No, it's Roger Everell. I mean, he should be on that one-way trip to that one place, kids. But we're not going to go into that. Patriot Leona and Patriot Leilon. I think you two right now are the ones that I hurt the most for. But then again, I'm happy for you because you're too young to understand what's going on. But if you stick with me tonight, I'm going to explain it as best I can. Patriot Cutie Pie and Patriot 17. You understand what's going on. You understand that you're two kids that are not allowed to go out and play in your yard for fear that you might not come back in the house. And it's a shame that you have to live like that. But your mom is such an amazing woman. She takes great care of you along with your grandma and your aunt. Patriot Super Gymnast, I wish you all the best tonight in your game. I wish I could have been there. But unfortunately, the mishap I had yesterday and had to deal with it. Patriot 7, I know you didn't enjoy the game yesterday because you never called me once. You didn't say anything. Hey, Jerry Wells. Hey, David Duffy. Hey, John Holiday, Starfire. Good to see you guys here. Patriot Small Hank was homesick today. And one of the cutest things happened today with him being homesick. Hi, Tony X42YN or whatever. Soretta Jevic, hello. There's my good friend Janet. But anyway, he was homesick today, and his daddy had to go get some medicine. I was laying down on my bed just resting. All of a sudden, he comes to my door, and he knocks on it. I said, come on in. He said, Grandpa Hank. I said, yeah. He said, are you going to stay home for a while? I said, I'll be here for a while. Why? What's up? He said, well, my dad just went to get some medicine, and I'm kind of hoping you stay here till he gets back. I don't want to be home alone. I said, well, I think I can manage that, and I did. Patriot Little Monkey played her first basketball game yesterday, and the thing we was most proud about her is she actually played. She ran up and down the court. She did a little gymnastics out there, but last year, she had this thing that she'd get to center court and she'd lay down and act like she was swimming on the floor. She had no clue about a basketball game. So she did change that in Patriot. Kira, we're still trying to get potty trained. And, mommy's saying, did you go potty? Yep. Did you go potty? Yep. And then all of a sudden they check her and she's peed her pants. And they yell at her and say, whoa, 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 whoa. You don't ask them if you got to go potty. You get up, you take them by the hand, you sit them down. And you don't let them go. You don't let them get up. You don't have to worry about getting back on the couch and sitting down on your fat rear end there. You stay there with your kid. And I know for a fact because I had to do it. But anyway, the kids, we love you. And I know you probably saw that we added 2 more. Them are the 2 kids from the Ukraine, Patriot 17, who Ron was so kind enough. He couldn't come up with a name. And Ron said, well, my favorite number is 17. So he chose that. And then Ron also named Patriot Cutie Pie. And she is. And guys, we just, me and Ron, I don't know if it was reminiscing or what over the weekend, but we was talking a lot about Haley and Smiley. And we finally remembered Smiley's mom's name. I forgot it now, but Sylvia. And, we miss them because, these are people. These two kids I just mentioned, these are people that they literally called me on the phone or chatted with me on live chat, just us. And even their husbands came on the phone and said how lucky they were to be part of our group, to be part of our family, that going in what they're going into now, they never ever thought. And then a matter of a couple of weeks later, boom, it's like poof the magic dragon, and they were gone. No explanation. Well, we all know what the explanation was, and that kind of takes care of the kids tonight. Remember, kids, this video is not for you. You can watch it if you want, as long as you have permission from parents, grandparents, legal guardians, or someone that's old enough to let you know, and your parents respect their opinion. The music I played tonight is for entertainment purposes only. It's our theme song. It has been our theme song, even though the hat tried to steal it from us. That being said, let's go into the show. Where are we now? And I have no clue. I want to ask each and every one of you here, did you hear what I heard? All weekend long, I posted everywhere you went. The hat is going to make the greatest announcement of his life. Sunday evening.
We were guessing halftime at the Super Bowl.
Pardon?
I was guessing halftime.
Ron was guessing halftime at the Super Bowl to get rid of that, whatever that was at halftime. And I don't know. Guys, I can't tell you one thing. The only thing I can tell you about the halftime at the Super Bowl is the team that won it. They were interviewed and they said, what is your favorite song of his? Not one player on the team said, I don't know any of his songs. More or less, why is he playing when you could have had great entertainers there? Kid Rock, I didn't get to see that either because it wasn't aired where I could watch it. But I did see some highlights, and Kid Rock, he was winning a concert. Over 200,000. No, over 2 million or 20 million. I don't remember which. It was either 2 million or 20 million people turned off their TV at halftime and did not watch it. Wow. David, Papa G, first Super Bowl in 55 years since you didn't watch it. So you've watched the Super Bowl. What is the one thing a Super Bowl used to always do to bring a family together? It wasn't a football game. A football game's played back when we was growing up, Papa G, they was real. They weren't scripted. But the one thing that I always thought growing up and as I got older and older that was great about the Super Bowl was the halftime shows. And I'm going to give you an illustration. Jan Anderson, my sister-in-law, my brother Russ's, her kids, they got 5 daughters, my brother Russ and Jan. They got 5 daughters. My nieces, my sister, they would gather around here in my mom's house with Ron and all of us. It was standing room only until the halftime show was over. And then the women all went home and the men got to enjoy the game and drink their beer. This Super Bowl was so uneventful, so ridiculous, so terrible. It is the first Super Bowl since I was old enough to drink and Ron was old enough to drink. We have not drank beer. And it's probably one of the first we didn't get drunk. Never had one beer. Ron slept through. I mean, I at least was sitting on the sofa behind me and I was watching it. And there was a couple plays that I go, did you see that? And he's over there like this. I mean, he's sunken logs. And I don't know how he slept last night because he slept so long in the chair, Sandra. But, you know, it was a worthless crap. It was satanic. Okay, Tony says it was. I can't tell you, you know, but I'm seeing a lot of people agreeing with me, Myrna, and a lot of people. Guys, and we used to love the Super Bowl. I'm going to go even further. The Super Bowl and New Year's Day. New Year's Day started off with a Sugar Bowl and the Cotton Bowl, then the Rose Bowl. But the cream of the crop, even though the Rose Bowl is the granddaddy mall, and it usually was an amazing game back when the Big Ten was the Big Ten. Back when, you know, the teams on the coast was what the big, whatever, Southern Cal and UCLA. And you used to look for it. I mean, you had to watch. Remember, New Year's Day, you had to watch the parade, right, Bill Woods? Right, Sandra, Janet? You had to watch the parade. The Rose Bowl parade. It was beautiful. All the flowers, all the outfits and the bands that played, everything was amazing. And your day started. You planned your day. And I can remember my mom sitting at the kitchen table, cutting the noodles to cook for New Year's Day dinner, cutting them noodles, looking around the corner so she could watch the Rose Bowl. So we got a TV and put it in the kitchen for her. You know, it was amazing. It was fantastic. Sugar Bowl and Cotton Bowl was good games. Rose Bowl really got it going. But the cream of the crop was the Orange Bowl. And once again, just like the Super Bowl, the women had to watch the Orange Bowl. I remember making phone calls. I remember my brother making phone calls, calling his daughters, calling his wife. We get my sister. All the women would come down here to mom's, and we had to watch halftime of the Orange Bowl. Once it was over, and the guys again got to sit there and drink their beer in peace and quiet. But it was just an amazing thing. My mom would go to bed. My dad would get to start drinking beer because my mom went to bed and he wasn't supposed to drink. But his boys took care of him. But it used to be an amazing day. And the Super Bowl used to be an amazing day. And now, when you see a quarterback like this quarterback for the New England Patriots standing there having enough time he could have ate a sandwich, having a guy wide open, not within 20 yards of him, and he bounces it 10 feet in front of him or throws it 20 feet over his head. The guy that set a record for percentage. He led the league in percentage completions. And yesterday, he couldn't have hit a barn standing 5 feet away from it. But they had to make it exciting. So they let him complete a couple passes and let him get a touchdown. But then they said, oh, no, we want to make people think they got a chance to win some money here. Because the over was 45.5, and a lot of people bet a lot of money on the over. Vegas ain't going to lose that money. Vegas is controlling all the sports right now, guys. So they had to make it look like it was going to get close. Give these people a chance, because you know what happens when it looked like, oh, this is scoring and this is scoring, and oh, now we're going to have a score. It's going to go over 45.5. And they even went and during the game, because you can bet during the game, bet on any play, but during the game they dropped it down to where it ended up missing by like 2.5 points. They wanted to get more people and millions of dollars flowed in. Hey, this is going over 45.5. I can get it at 41.5. I'm playing it. And I don't remember exact numbers, but it's such a terrible, terrible thing. New England's offense. I agree, Bill. I agree. I mean, I've watched that kid, and they going into this game. Well, New England's quarterback came out of last year's thing. He was the number 2 quarterback drafted. And everybody is saying he should have been number 1. She's better than anybody. Well, opinions are like rear ends. We all have one. But I'm telling you right now, as a Chicago Bear fan, you could ask a lot of Chicago Bear fans, would they take that kid over the kid we got? No. That kid had a great year. But no second year man, really hardly no quarterback has led a team, not once, not twice, but 7 times back in victory in this fourth quarter. That kid did it. They fix up a few things. They fix up a few things and get in good with Vegas, where Vegas wants them to win, and they'll win the Super Bowl next year. Because it doesn't matter how good you are. If Vegas don't want you to win, you're not winning. And that's what I put on the hat. He has to put a stop. 2 years in a row, 3 years in a row. Because you remember that group of people that was with us. One of them was a digital soldier. And I remember 3 years ago, he said it's rigged. And it was really, I started to look at it then. And I started to get some, maybe he's right. Last year. And everything's always going to happen at the Super Bowl. The hat, Mr. Trump, is going to come out and make the best announcement he ever made. The only announcement I heard him make yesterday was he gave an ultimatum to the Ukraine and Russia that if this war is not ended by June, are you freaking kidding me? The same man that said if he's elected president, he will have that war stopped in 30 days. So now if he's extending it to June, what's it going to go? June of what year? That's my question. How many more people, because he won't put us on these beds, how many more people, how many more animals are we going to lose? Because he can go off, play golf whenever he wants. He can take his granddaughter. And I'm not getting on his granddaughter because everything I've researched and everything I hear about her, she doesn't care about the money. But would you agree with me, Bill? Would you agree with me, Jeffrey, Sandra? Isn't it real easy to say it's not about the money? Do you ever hear of poor people say it's not about the money? It's the rich people, as they can't get all of their money in their wallet, as there are not enough banks to insure all the money they got. But it's not about the money. Elon Musk and the hat went out and they did the Doge. Trillions of dollars they saved. What happened to it? Now are they taking it? We used to print money so our economy could thrive. We didn't print money so our economy could thrive. We printed money so people could become rich and we could go in so much debt that if we don't get a miracle, we'll never get out. What is the miracle? Big N and Big G. Why? And it's in effect. Hey, right, Larry? Hey, Larry Smith, isn't it? Don't we, every time we turn around, Big N and Big G is in effect. Well, the one thing it says is it pays off all debt. None of my debt's been paid off. None of Ron's debt's been paid off. Has any of yours, Sandra? And I'm on a roll tonight, guys, because I don't have a whole lot. But I'm just trying to say we can still be up, in good moods, but we have the right to question. And when I say I don't care the size of my group, I don't. But it's at this point, I wish I had 25,000 members. And I'm going to go into something here in a little bit about members. Matter of fact, I'm going to go to it right now if I can find it, because I don't want to forget this. Anybody that knows me know I am not a Phil, whatever his last name, Gugulu, whatever his last name is. But anyway, I got to get to this site here. Bear with me. So Mr. Googie, evidently, he's not making enough money. And here's what he reported today. Evidently, he's got something going that you can get involved with him. I don't know if you make money or if you're donating for a project, but here's what he says. Due to the volume of incoming requests after the internal discussions with technical and management team, we have made a decision. We are opening a separate structured way to participate for those who want to be inside the project, but with a smaller ticket than the main round of 500,000 and up. Important to be very clear, the terms of this level is different from those of large and strategic investors. This is a separate tier with its own format parameters. At the same time, it is real opportunity to be inside the project at this stage. Also important to understand, I simply do not have the physical time to speak with everyone one-on-one. The interest is massive and the project is moving fast. To keep momentum, everything now organized through one clear process. I will explain all details and logic more deeply tomorrow during the live, but if you already are ready to move, don't wait. What to do now? Action. Once you follow the link, once you register and submit basic information, first, last, phone, email, telegram, username, select a preferred participation amount from the available. Are you believing that this man has come up with a money-making scheme that he's using his Patriot followers to make money off of? Who can say Scam City? I don't like the man. I never have liked the man. Everybody's always this and this and this. To me, he's a putz. That's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. John's going down under when it all settles, huh? John, I could take that in a naughty way, but I'm not going to. And John, if I wouldn't have said that, you probably thought there was something wrong with me.
We might do.
See, then I'm going to disagree with you. John says he likes camping, but tent camping. I'm sorry. I don't mind camping out, but I don't want to be in no dang tent on that hard ground. Now, when I go back to where I feel like I'm 30, I still don't want no part of it. And I tell you, my brother Russ, my best friend Rodney Bertrand at the time, he actually moved in and was more like a brother. My mom took him in because he was about ready to get thrown in a school because he wouldn't go to school, if you know, getting ready to take. So my mom moved into his mom and brought him out when we lived at the farm. He was just like a brother. And when we got our jobs at the battery factory on the weekends, they would camp out, they would drink. I'd stay and party, da. But when it was time to go to bed, I went home. My bed was a lot softer than that ground or that back of that fan. And I'm thinking, wow. Now, I want if I'm going camping, I want luxury. I'm sorry. And it's each your own, right? But then again, you know, John, you have them 4 or 5 grandkids. So, you know, they'll snuggle up to you. Mine never stayed with me. So, I mean, can you believe I have 3 grandkids? As much as I love, they've never one of them spent a night with their grandpa. But it is what it is. The excuse is I have cats and my one grandson is allergic to them, but the 2 granddaughters aren't. And it doesn't matter. You on a CPAP on, John? I used to be on a CPAP. I outgrew it. As I got older, I outgrew the CPAP. When I was tested for having to use one of those, sleep apnea, they hooked me up. It took them longer to hook me up than it took them to take me off of it. Because when they're doing that test at night, now they have different ways of doing it now, but back then when I had it done 40 years ago, back then, you know, you know, and they're monitoring usually over an 8-hour night's sleep. You get about a page, maybe a page and a quarter of stuff going on. Mine was going, I was on page 3 in 40 minutes. She unhooked me. She hooked me up into a CPAP machine, and I slept like a baby. It's the first real sleep I had. I wore one for many years, and now they tell me I don't need it no more. And, you know, I don't. I learned to sleep. You don't sleep on your back a lot if you have sleep apnea. But so, I mean, I don't mean to cut to cut that one guy down that I just filled. It's just that, I mean, I even joined his channel just so I could get some information. Yeah, these are interested in ATOM Ventures project, but don't have the 500,000 minimum. Wow. He must have kahunas the size of 2 basketballs put together. Because, see, here's my point, Myrna and Bill. Being senior citizens, and it's just more of the promises that we get. But, you know, when we go to all of this stuff, remember the quantum financials, the money that we're supposed to get. Ron told me the other day, he was watching a video, we're supposed to get $50 million, the senior citizens. Well, why wouldn't we? Because, you know, $50 million is nothing. They've retrieved so much, I can't even remember, more than even quadrillions of gold and money in that. And then, you know, if they really wanted money, all they got to do is just what the, you know, Obies and Bush beans and you know, the Clutons and, you know, all they have to do is what they did and just go, hey, turn the machine on. Let's run off about $15 billion for us today. Hey, what's it matter if it's got a value? You know, but I do want to talk about something that I really, I thought was interesting. Me and Ron both seen it the other day, and I want to go to Ron's messenger to see if I can find it so I can really talk about it in a better way, but I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Bear with me. First of all, I'm going to talk about the special beds. Now, we all know this guy, Prince, is supposed to be the leader in the special beds. And she came out with a video the other day, really good. They're ready to go. They're taking applications. And then right under that in small letters, $300 to join that. And then Ron wanted, I mean, he wanted to put it all over. He put it on our Telegram page. And I said, Ron, let's take it down. He said, why? And I said, look at here. And I took it over and I read $300 registration fee. The one thing we do know, what we've been told, if you're paying a registration fee, it's not real. I knew I wouldn't be able to find this thing I wanted. But here's some intel from Tony. Wells Fargo is expecting something to happen tonight or tomorrow morning. The rates are still blank. The old rates were showing on Wednesday. This is a last week thing. People have been called into the bank. The banks have been directed, stop telling us it's not going to happen. That's what they were told. Tony expects them to happen after 9 p.m. 28.50 for the dinar, 7.40 for the dong. Venezuela does not show, but everybody's saying it's a very good rate. What I wanted to find, and I just can't find it on here. What I wanted to find is there's a country that is generating their own power. No power lines. And if anybody's seen this and you have it, you know, let me know. You send it over to me in the messenger and I can look at it. But anyway, the picture they show is something, just imagine something that stuff shooting out the top of it. It's kind of like a big fireworks display. But what it's doing, it's running the electricity with no wires, no underground cable, nothing into people's houses. Any place you're at, your battery in your phone will never go dead. Your house will never need electricity. Even if we have a storm, it won't knock it out. And there's a country doing it. And I had heard about this a long time ago, that it was something like that. But I actually seen the video where it said that it was active. Here's a breaking bombshell GCR update. February 8th, 2026. Patriots, the final countdown is on. QFS is live. Redemptions are igniting globally. Deep state collapsing. Real time. The Hats Alliance delivers total victory. Anons, strap in. This is it. The final storm has arrived. Full force. Fresh intel straight from the front lines confirms the restored republic is surging forward to warp speed under the White Hat command. The global currency reset, GCR, and revaluation, RV, are exploding into action right now. No more delays, no more games. The fiat Ponzi scheme is dead. Quantum financial system, QFS, takes absolute dominion over every transaction on the planet. Redemption centers worldwide are lighting up. Tier 4B notifications flooding in like a tidal wave. Exchanges for dinar, dong, and the full basket of rainbow currency are intimate. Rates so astronomical they'll turn everyday patriots into overnight stewards of massive wealth to rebuild a republic and crush poverty worldwide. The Hats green light is blazing bright, and the constitutional republic is fully operational under common law. SWIFT is ancient history, and Starlink is primed for the energy broadcast system drop that will expose everything in 10 days of absolute truth. FBI Director Kash Patel dropped the hammer. We are near, so close I already see you on the other side. It is no longer a question of if or when. There will be events shortly, but you are ready. Military tribunals are accelerating. Deep state traders vanishing into GITMO black holes by hundreds. Over 700 bankers scum stripped of licenses, assets seized. Whistleblowers revealed huge. NESARA, GESARA is activating live debt wiped clean, suppressed technologies flooding out, prosperity funds hitting accounts, and the greatest wealth transfer in human history flowing directly to we the people. The cabal parasites who enslaved us for generations, they're finished, hunted, exposed, eliminated. The alliance has flipped every switch, and the train is unstoppable. The Hat Q, the military, and divine intervention have orchestrated the perfect takedown. The fake news matrix is shattering. The awakening is global, and victory is sealed. Hold fast, digital soldiers. We're crossing the finish line. The golden age of freedom, abundance, and justice is dawning today. Stay locked, stay faithful, trust the plan, because the republic is restored. The storm is raging, and we win. Then it says WWG1 WGA forever. God bless President the Hat. God bless the Patriots, and Godspeed to the final liberation of humanity. I'm really surprised they didn't say God bless Tiny Tim. I had to get that in there. And you can join the Frontlines Emergency Broadcast System channel where the storm intel drops, EBS activation plus 10 days. Now, on Friday night's show, our third, might have been, I think it was Friday. I know one show, or maybe it's going to be new tonight that I'm announcing it the first. I don't remember. But there was a statement made that people were dancing in the streets in the Ukraine and Russia, that the Ukraine and Russia had come to a settlement to return prisoners of young men, young women who were captured, who the people living in them countries never thought they would ever see their children again. As Julia said to me, when I said, what is the best thing that could happen for you when this war ends? And she said, the beds be filled, the empty tables at the chairs of the kitchen table, they be filled, and the sofas and chairs in the living room be filled with the people that will be able to come home. We've lost so many lives. So many people are going to hurt. Why lose any more? She didn't say freedom. She didn't say to be able to do this or do that. So me and Ron, we took the question to her mom, her best friend, and the two kids. The little girl, the one thing she wants to do is be able to eat as much ice cream as she wants. The little boy wants to be able in the summer to go to the sea and go swimming because he likes to see his Aunt Julia in a bikini. He's 15 years old, guys. I like to see her in a bikini. That boy and me going to get along real good. The mom was asked, and when they asked the mom, what is the one thing that you would want to do? Her answer was just be able to walk down the street, go to the grocery store, buy the groceries, come home, make a nice dinner with electricity, with heat, not have to wear my winter coat to bed and 5 blankets on top of me, afraid that the blankets are going to fall off of me in the middle of the night and I'm going to freeze to death. Masha, the other girl, she just said, I want to see my daughter and my son get their wishes. That's a tremendous mom. As Aunt Julia said the same thing. She just wants to see the people of her country, the people of the country that they're fighting. You know, she has no hard feelings for the people that they're fighting. She knows they're doing it because they're forced to do it, or they'll stand in front of a squad. You either go out and you do what they make them do. We go to the Vietnam conflict. It's the same thing. Do you think my brother Russ is a 19-year-old boy? He went over a young boy. He come back smoking 4 packs of cigarettes a day. He come back heavy. He come back scared, and still to this day, he has flashbacks. And he had Radar O'Reilly's job from that. That's where he worked. But you know what? It doesn't matter, because what they don't show in MASH with Radar O'Reilly, what they don't show in MASH of anything like that, when he had the job, at least once a week, he still had to go out on patrol. And you go out on patrol at 9, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, and it's dark. And sometimes you don't come back. Case in point, my best friend, why Russ was in Vietnam, my brother. My best friend's brother was in Vietnam, and he went out on patrol. His last patrol, his second tour of duty in Vietnam, he was coming home and getting married to the woman he loved and be the dad that his wife was 8.5 months pregnant with. A man about 30 feet over, one of his soldiers' friends, stepped on a mine, and it took 10 of them out. He never got to see his daughter. You know, war is brutal. And what's even more brutal is the reason we have wars is because it's the most flourishing time in the world for people who stole from us the way they stole from us. One of the reasons that war kept going is because there's a guy with the initials GB, and he was a president, and he was running one of the biggest drugs things over there, bringing it back and making millions and billions. Who's gonna come after him? He's someone important. It sucks. I've never believed in the penalty when if you do something, you should lose yours too. But I'm telling you right now, I am so bitter at these people. I would pull the switch that put that thing around their neck and make it end. I would gladly be one of them that I would gladly take that thing that they put in the arm. And I'm not a mean guy. Okay. Thank you, Myrna. Follow Dr. Myrna over here. She's giving wise advice. Thank you, Myrna. Wow. I just got a dizzy spell. But anyway, guys, what I'm trying to say here, as way I've spoke tonight, I'm very disappointed. The greatest announcement ever in his life. Did anybody here really hear any decent announcement from him yesterday? I didn't even hear him speak. Then I read today that he said he gave an ultimatum to them two countries if it isn't ended in June. Wait a minute. Sir, you told us you'd have it ended in 30 days. Now it's June. Naturally, with my co-conspirator, my Tuesday and Thursday night Bruce and the Big Call friend, Marianne, we just figure this is just another ploy. We can't go into the big N. We can't go into the big G. They can say it's active. You can't go into it until there's no wars. The 209 nations cannot do what they want to do until all wars are ended. Now, he's giving them an ultimatum, and I'm going to tell you something. Sitting here today, because I had a rough weekend. Yesterday especially. I'll get into that in a minute. But I had a rough weekend, and after today, to rectify the weekend, I did. And I'm sitting here with Ron, and we're talking. And Ron looked at me, and he says, Ralph, he says, he can go into this country, and he can snag their president, and he can bring him, and he can put him in jail, and he can take over that country, and boom. He can go into this country, and he can do the same thing. Why can't he go into them other two countries? Is he afraid of them two guys? Does he think that they're more powerful than we are? We're supposed to have the greatest armed forces in the world. We just picked up another country that should be with us because they were dancing in the streets in Venezuela, loving us so much. So we have more power. We can hit them from all sides. But why can't he get our people to go in and snatch this Putin and this Zelensky, whatever his name is, the guy that starts with a Z, the big Z? And I brought this up to Julie, and she said, do it, please. Because she opened her eyes, and she says to me in a letter about 2 weeks ago, our politicians are corrupt. Yeah, she told me they're corrupt. She says, honey, they're just like you said they were. But see, I never would say it about her country because she loves her country. But I would say it about my country because I know what they're doing. And I said, but don't worry about that. Myrna's got it. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Myrna says the hat should win an Oscar for the best acting award. And it's true. Is it really the hat? Is his handler? I mean, something has got to give. Greatest military force in the world. Greatest president in the world. Everything's in place. But we just can't get her done, Sharon. Sharon, we can't get her done, Sandra. Wow. Bill Woods, what do you think? Janet, you're always wise and come up with something good. What do you think? My truthful opinion is, and I'm never, we got 111 on there. See, Angels numbers. This guy's, we're ready to go. Just as I was getting ready to talk about Angels, I looked up and we got 111 people on here. At 48 minutes and 11 seconds right now into the show. That's a lot of ones. That's a lot of Angel numbers. Janet says, where we go one, we go all. And that's the truth. And we will not give in. We will not surrender. We will not comply. I got a message from saying one of my prescriptions was ready. But also, they've noticed that I haven't had my shots. What am I? Shots? I'm not a dog that I got to go in for shots. And see, the whole thing is I'll go in there and pick up that prescription tomorrow or the next day. And they'll look at me and they'll say, hey, you need to get this shot and this shot. And they even try to get me to take that one that they're still giving. They're still giving that shot from how many years ago? I wouldn't comply then. Do they really think I lost a doctor then? Do they really think I'm going to comply now? But anything they can do to make the all godly buck, the all godly buck, isn't it? Myrna and Jeffrey and Ian and Kevin, John, isn't it going to be magical day when, yeah, we're going to have all the money we need. But there's going to come a day where you're not going to need money. You want to go on a trip, you go get on what you're getting on, and you take off. You go. People's going to work to make certain things and do this and do that. But what about the replicators? What about Rosie the maid for the replicators? You know, it's just little things that just comes off the charts that's going to happen. And I've said this, what I'm about to say now, I've said this for a long, long time. I believe God's doing this now because I believe heaven is getting too full. So he needs heaven to actually come down where it was supposed to be, and that's on earth. That's my feelings, and I may be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but that's my feelings. You know, I just feel, yeah, boy, Ian Bell hit it. You just can't fix stupid. Stupid is as stupid does. Yes, we do, Sharon. Thanks, everybody, for interacting with me tonight. As I said, I didn't have a whole lot. I didn't want to have a whole lot because I got so depressed. Now, let me tell you about my weekend. And I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to show you just where we're at in this world in sports and other ventures. In sports, my Fighting Illini, we lost a game to Michigan State over the weekend. Michigan State has a player on their team that in the last 2 games before that, in the game before Illinois against Michigan State on Saturday, this man literally went out and tried to physically hurt by tripping, by doing nasty fouls, and didn't even get fouls called. So nasty that his coach finally took him off the floor when he knew the game was won. He's not going to take him off when there was still a chance to win, but he disciplined him for the last minute of the game once the game was already decided. And he says, 3 times in this game and 1 time in a game before, you literally tried to hurt the opposition. 4 times. Talked about wasn't going to play him, didn't set him for 1 minute. He started, and he was the star of the game. Why? Because twice in this game, he did the same thing when our coach finally spoke up and said 6 times in 3 games, this man has physically tried to hurt. Winning and losing games, you win and you lose, you win and you lose. Our coach, to show you where his heart is for this team, he turned down a $50 million contract to stay at the University of Illinois. He loves it there. He loves the kids there. He turned that down to stay where he loves to be. It's not about money. But this kid, 6 times. And I wish I was the type of person that could say, I wish they'd go after him and hurt him. But I can't wish something like that on anybody. So Saturday didn't go well for me. Sunday, I went to Patriot Sevens and Patriot Little Monkeys basketball games. Now, the Little Monkeys basketball games, we were just happy that she didn't get down and act like she was swimming in the middle of the court. She actually stayed up, did a little bit of gymnastics, but hey, it was cute. They don't know anything about the game anyway. Liam, it's very clear that Liam is a good baseball player. Liam is a good football player, but he needs to take this time of year and relax and rest up for baseball and football. Because, or learn how to dribble the ball and shoot the ball. He had a shot yesterday. Right under the basket. He got the rebound. He's right there. There's no one around him. He goes to put it up. It could have been a 40-foot basket that went over the top of it. But I watched the game. I enjoyed the games because of my grandkids. I have become so close with all these other kids. Like Liam's basketball team, they got a good coach. They got a coach that coaches. He was their football coach, and they won a Super Bowl in football. So they're staying together 1 more year. And I root for the other kids because I got to know them so much. I'm Papa to them too, or Grandpa Ralph or whatever. but on the way home, I had to stop at the store and pick up some stuff for me and Ron for snacks and stuff. We don't cook a meal on Super Bowl Sunday. We're still trying to hold out hope that you can have a little fun. That went down the toilet. And I leave the store and I'm driving home. I come to this road's 5,000 where it takes us right into a half a mile outside of Buckingham. And then, I got to go 14 miles west, but I'm driving along and I stop there's 3 stops. There's a stop sign once you hit the first stop sign on the road. The next mile, there's a stop sign. 2 miles later, there's a stop sign. 3 miles later, there's a stop sign. And then the final one coming into Buckingham's 4 miles. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm at the third one, and I started to go, and all of a sudden I heard clunk, 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 and I go, oh no. I get out, and my driver's tire had totally exploded. I have no jack. The only spare I got is a little donut underneath, and I don't know how to get it out. But it was fortunate because really good friends of mine, I pulled into their driveway, and I sat there, called my daughter, her and my son-in-law, Grandma Bo's grandson, and 2 of the grandkids. They came to help me. They didn't bring the right stuff, so they got to go back. Well, as they're going back to get the rest of the stuff they need, it's going to take them 20 minutes over and 20 minutes back. And all of a sudden, a car went by, and then all of a sudden, the guy that lives there comes driving up in his little, not a golf cart, but one of these really nice ones that you can actually drive on the road. And in the country, they do. He comes up and he said, Mr. Anderson. I said, how you doing, John? I said, I didn't know you lived here. He said, yeah, I got the house when Mom died. I said, okay. He goes, little trouble here? I said, yeah. He says, you got a jack? I said, no, my son-in-law just went to get one. You got a 4-way? No, my son-in-law just went to get one. He said, well, we ain't going to need it. I got an impact, that. I got one of those. We'll get it. Well, he gets it, but so he calls his son, who actually told him I was out there. And his son is Chad, who used to be police chief in our area, comes over and he says, I'll get it for you, Ralph. Don't worry about it. He brings a gun. I call my daughter and I said, what are you doing? Where are you at? And she said, well, we're getting ready to head back. Chad says, don't worry about it. I'll have your dad on the road in 5 minutes. He did a Google to see how you get that little spare tire out. He gets the spare tire up. Boom. He's got it on. I said, can I give you guys a little money? I go, no. We help friends. Now, if that had been their 2 brothers, it'd cost me $400 because that's their business, towing. But it wouldn't have been towing. And the thing of it is when the guy come out, I was just getting ready to call their brother to get help. It was cold. So I get home, I get here to Ron's, get the snacks all made up and get ready to watch a game. And it was a disgusting game. It's the worst Super Bowl game ever. They should end them. They should not play no more if they're going to end them like that. So anyway, that being said, I got to get up this morning. I got to drive to Kankakee, which is about 23 miles. And I got to go in there and I got to get a new tire. Well, I don't get new tires because I can't afford them. These are 18-inch tires, and a brand new one is like $150 or more. So I go to this place that has really good used tires. He wants $80 for a used tire. I said, oh, boy. I had to have it. I got $30 from Ron to make sure I had enough. He changes it, and he's looking around. He said, I can't let you leave here. I said, I paid, or I'm ready to pay. He said, that's not the point. Every one of your other tires are just as bad as that one that we just took off. They just haven't exploded yet. I can't let you go out there. I'm not going to be responsible for you going and getting hurt. So there is good people left. And I said, but I don't have $320 to get a set of tires, plus $5 to get rid of them. I don't have $340. And he goes, what can you afford? I said, I got probably $80 or $90 on me, and I can probably afford another $100. He says, can you afford $220? And that gets me to get rid of the tires of yours that you're going to leave. And I said, yeah, I can come up with that. So this man worked, and he gave me these tires. He could have charged me $340. He charged me $220. So there is good people. And I wanted to end this show on that story because there is good people. And that's what we got to look for, Myrna. That's what we got to look for, Ian and Sandra and Kevin. We have to look for the good people, John. And that's what this group, this family is here. 1 hour exactly. I'm going to say good night. God bless. We'll see you Wednesday. I'm hoping we have some good news. Bruce swore to us last Thursday that Tuesday night's call this week was going to be a happy call. We still have time. Let's hope that the hat doesn't keep acting. Let's hope that the hat actually does the things he's promised, Tony. He actually does the things he promised. And let's all move together. Good night. God bless, Mike and Ron. Love yous all. And we'll see you on Wednesday night, if not before.
So, man, you did very well.